So, with nothing more than a short 1.5 minute teaser trailer and no actual gameplay footage, concrete release date, or much story information, there are a ton of questions we all want to know the answer to in the near future regarding giving us more information on what we can expect from Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I'm sure you guys would love to know the answers as well. If you have any that I've missed in this video that you want answering, let me know in the comments below. And the first of these questions is, when are we going to see a gameplay demo? So back in the beginning of September, media analyst Millie Amand claimed that we would be seeing a gameplay demo soon. Since then we've had the D23 Expo and the September 22 State of Play with nothing around any Spider-Man gameplay. But could we see a gameplay demo before Christmas? I'd certainly hope so, because at this point it's been over a year since we got any significant news about the game. Now, of course, we know from the teaser trailer that Venom is going to be appearing in the game, and I am so hyped for this. I really hope it plays a major part in the story, but of course that does leave some questions around Venom. The first of which, will we get a symbiote origin story in some form? Could we meet Harry early on in the game as either Peter Parker or as Miles, and then we could get a cutscene of the symbiote taking control of Harry, and then that's where we find him in that tank? Or is Venom just going to appear as a villain? I'd certainly hope it's the former, so we do get an origin story out of it. I'm also assuming there's going to have Harry as Venom, as a lot of leaks have suggested, yet it might not even be him. Unlikely, but there's a chance it could be Eddie Brock, or Eddie Brock could appear later in the game as Venom, who knows. Who do you think will be playing Venom in the game, or do you think it'll be more than one person? Secondly, and similar to the third Spider-Man film from the early 2000s, could we see the symbiote get Peter Parker, and then we could get a symbiote or black suit Spider-Man, which would lead on to a bunch of other smaller stories. Like Miles and Peter having a fight before Peter finally gets rid of the symbiote, or it gets Eddie or Harry again, or it just disappears off into the wilderness with no end story, indicating we could get some DLC later on. I think that'd be pretty awesome if the symbiote got Peter some point in this next game. What do you guys think? My next question, even though it's quite likely to be true, is Harry Osborn going to be Venom in the next game? We saw Norman had him in a tank in his secret lab with what looks like it could be a Venom symbiote, which, as I previously mentioned, could end up being the origin story of Venom in Spider-Man 2. I personally love the idea of Harry being Venom, and we could even see him and Peter being real good friends before Harry eventually finds out Peter's secret identity and then all hell breaks loose. We could also have flashbacks of Peter and Harry before Harry ends up in the tank, so we can find out exactly what went wrong. Now this one is probably one of my most anticipated questions, and that is, will we get the chance to play as Venom in the next game? I'm fairly certain this is one of the fans of Spider-Man and the games will want, even if it's just 1 or 2 missions or perhaps an unlockable character towards the end of the game who we can then use in a new game plus. Do you guys want the ability to play as Venom at all? I certainly do. And of course, the big one we all want to know is, when is the game going to be released? I'm almost certain it'll be towards the back end of next year, so between September and December 2023. If we look at the release dates of the original Marvel Spider-Man game, that was the 7th of September 2018, and then Miles Morales was 12th of November 2020. I'm going to assume we're going to see Spider-Man 2 released at a similar time next year, in time for Christmas, like a lot of the other AAA games usually do. Now I'm going to talk about the map. Of course, Spider-Man is historically set in New York, barring a couple of the latest movies starring Tom Holland, but when it comes to the games, what I want to know is, what are they going to change with the next game? Or is it going to be the same map again? Now, New York is definitely the best city for swinging Spider-Man games due to its huge and high skyscrapers, but could we see more additional areas separate from New York? Downtown Manhattan, are they going to upscale New York so it's optimised for next-gen consoles, and this can include extra pedestrians, more activities going on in the game, and so on? We even see Brooklyn and Queens as an extra spot to go visit. And I think that should have been in the first game is, can we go and see the Statue of Liberty? If none of these things come true, we'll have effectively had the same map for 3 games in a row, so surely Insomniac Games might want to switch it up a little bit, or at the very least, as I mentioned, upgrade the city to next-gen consoles and hardware. So moving on, we obviously got to fight a lot of villains in the first Spider-Man game, and as we know, we're all going to see Venom in Spider-Man 2, but I have another question around villains, and that is, are we going to see the Green Goblin? Of course, Norman Osborn was present in the first game, but only as Norman Osborn, and towards the end of the game, he was removed from office and publicly shamed for his involvement with the Devil's Breath outbreak, so this could be the tipping point for Norman when he finally flips and becomes a Green Goblin. If the Green Goblin is present in the game, it'll almost certainly be one of the main villains, if not the main villain of the entire story, so I really hope they bring him into the game, or perhaps tease him at the end of the game for a main character in the third one. Sticking with villains, what I would love to know is which ones we like to see in Spider-Man 2, so we're definitely going to be getting Venom and Kraven the Hunter, but who else could we see? Saw a whole host of villains in the original game, and some have already been teased from the Miles Morales game. Quick spoiler warning if you haven't yet finished Miles Morales yet. So Kurt Connors, aka the Lizard, shows up in the post-credit scene of Miles Morales, and some side missions in the game also involve Kingpin's henchmen causing havoc, so both of them could be primed for a comeback. Whilst these are the most likely villains to appear, there are some others who could show up in the sequel. Could we see the likes of Sandman Mysterio join the impressive roster of Spider-Man villains? Some of these would make for some truly epic boss battles. What do you guys think, and who do you want to see in the next iteration of the game? Now, as it looked like from the teaser that was released last year, we're definitely going to get a chance to play it as both Peter and Miles in the next iteration of Spider-Man. So my question is, how is this going to work? Could we have character switching ability similar to that of Grand Theft Auto 5, or are we going to have specific missions where we play as either Peter or Miles? Could it be a combination of both? What do you guys like to see? I'll be doing a full video around approaches Insomniac could take with this, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to not miss out on that. So there are a few questions I would love to know the answer to in the very near future. Are there any other questions that you guys would like to know as well? I would hope that we are due some more information shortly, as it has already been over a year since the last big Spider-Man 2 announcement. And if you're still here, it'd be totally awesome if you could hit those like and subscribe buttons. I will be covering everything to do with the next Spider-Man game, along with other games coming out on the PlayStation 5 in the near future, like Hogwarts Legacy. Thank you for watching, and catch you next time.